So the same shlok which is elsewhere repeated, Pita rakshati kaumare, bharta rakshati yauvane, now comes as an injunction to women. बाल्ये पितुर्वशे तिष्ठेत पाणिग्राहस्य यौवने पुत्राणाम भर्तरि प्रेते न भजेत स्त्री स्वतंत्रता. Verse 148. In childhood, a female must be subject to her father, in youth to her husband, when her lord is dead to her sons. A woman must never be independent. She is not independent, she must not act independently even inside her own home. She must not seek to separate herself from her father, husband or sons. By leaving them, she would make both the families contemptible. And then what she should be doing? She must always be very cheerful. She must manage the household affairs. She should carefully clean all the utensils and spend money stingily, not very generously and liberally. And whoever is her husband, whoever her father or brother give her away, she should stay with that man and should never try to transgress that relationship. And then what comes verse? This is verse 154. The man may be the worst kind of a person in the world, though destitute of virtue, seeking pleasure elsewhere, devoid of good qualities, yet a husband must be constantly worshipped as God by the dutiful wife. She has no sacrifice, so there is no duty of the wife to do any sacrifices, no fasts, nothing. Whatever she's just a partner with the husband, with whatever he does, she gets a share. No sacrifice, no vows, no fast must be performed by women apart from their husbands. If a wife obeys her husband, she will for that reason alone be exalted in heaven. So there is no need to do anything else to obtain heaven.
So things are easier for her.
It is poor men who have to do not so things. And then he says of what happens to a widow. This was during the lifetime of the husband. The duties of a widow, there is no sati as I said, very clear. Manusmriti does not mention the idea of sati. What happens when the husband dies? At her pleasure, let her emaciate her body by living on pure flowers, fruits, but she would never mention the name of another person even after her husband has died. So no remarriage, no widow remarriage is very clear. She has to live a life of discipline and self-control. Until her death, she should be patient, self-controlled and chaste, and strive to fulfill that most excellent duty which is prescribed for wives who have only one husband.
Why would he have done such kind of... is he just reflecting what was being practiced, or is he...
See, I think all cultures have been extremely unequal in their treatment of women so far. And it's only this whole idea of women having any independent rights is a very, very recent phenomenon. So in our country, in Manusmriti, etc., they're given all the rights and privileges, but only with the husband, not independent. There are certain amendments which are made in the Dharma Shastra text itself. For example, here when they say Nasti Swatantra Marati, one of the interpretations was that she cannot own property independently. That was done away with, and she was given complete right in her Stri Dhana. So there are certain changes made, and the last time I was mentioning there certain earlier texts even giving the husband the right to beat up the wife, to chop off her nose, to blind her. All these kind of extremely atrocious kinds of things have been said in the past, but later Dharma Shastra has kind of removed them entirely.
So in Manu, there no reference to naming. No. because
or maiming of the wife.
Wife.
No, not in Manu. The earlier, उसमें पहले धर्म सूत्रों में है. पिटाई करने का तो है कि थोड़ा सा
और
निकालने पे भी बड़े इंटरेस्टिंग है. There are several words, निष्कासन, निर्धमन, etc. But the interpretations are changed.
So what is Nirdaman?
Nirdaman is again turning out of the house.
I mean, technical difference Nishkasan and Nirdaman.
They're used interchangeably. They're being used interchangeably. Nirvasan.
निर्वासन तो सीधा का ही हो गया।
हाँ, बस धातु से बाहर निकाल देना
कुछ
घर
बताने
से.
लगे थे,
But
कुछ बताने लगे थे कि
so how the changes are made? So
माँ बाप के दिए हुए बहनों को ही होता है।
no. Anything which she receives, not only at the time of wedding, but throughout her life, any gifts which are given to the woman become a part of her stridhan. Absolutely clear about that. Any gift she receives from father's side, mother's side, husband's side, and from relatives and friends, not only at the time of wedding, but at any point in time, becomes her exclusive property. And in Stridhan, again, बहुत सारे
Where did even go? Because Sita also, I have been wondering all through. Sita never went back even to Janak. I mean, Janak also didn't come forward to take her. I mean, I don't know what happened to people who didn't have money and they were there
So
on
that was
roads.
never the practice. Even Kalidasa, when she bidding farewell to Shakuntala, she asked, when will I come back? तो उन्होंने कहा जब तुम्हारा बेटा सिंहासन पे बैठ जाएगा, जब तीसरे
वानप्रस्थ में आओगी तब.
तो मतलब मायके वापस जाने का तो कोई वही नहीं.
मैम, लेकिन इसमें लिखा है कि कई जगह मनुस्मृति, और इस समय मुझे मनुस्मृति का तो याद नहीं, other texts have clearly said that in case a woman is not treated well by her husband and his family, then it is the responsibility of the father and brothers to take care.
Elder brother also, but that is not
very clear.
reflected in the literature. यही उनका सवाल. सीता कभी नहीं गई अपने.
ये सीता तो अपनी मर्जी से नहीं गई. She could have had Sita taken the stand. Look, I am not willing to go to the forest. To hell with you. मैं अपने घर में जाके रहूंगी.
Prefers to go to her.
अच्छा, she because Sita is the model of a pativrata.
Yeah, that's it.
Sita is the model of a pativrata.
वो तो नहीं कि वो ठीक है, लेकिन जनक नहीं आए सामने. मुझे तो जनक से आपत्ति है. मतलब जनक क्या था ना तो मिलता है.
नहीं, जब आए तो थे, जब एक बार पहले, जब वो गंगा के पार जाने से पहले सब मिलने गए थे, तो कुछ नहीं हुआ. She refused. When Ram refuses to come back, how will Sita come? But वो बहुत
मैं जाए मत आराम से रहे अपना इंडिपेंडेंट अपना बच्चा
और जो भी करे
लाना तो घर में
बिल्कुल है. स्मृतियों में लिखा है ऐसा कि ऐसी स्थिति में fathers and brothers have the responsibility of looking after an indigent daughter or a sister.
Yeah, if you look at today, property registration, if it's the name of a female woman, then there's a lesser tax duties, stamp duties.
Yeah, जहाँ
So there's
government जहाँ
those
इस चीजों को promote कर
stuff.
रही है.
But in that
शास्त्र में
case,
भी
probably
पनिशमेंट नहीं है किसी भी काम
राम-
की, कर्म
राम
दुष्कर्म
ने
की
भेजा था,
पनिशमेंट का कोई
which was
ग्रंथ
still
नहीं है.
under
कहाँ पर
custody
punishment?
जैसे-
of his husband. Therefore, Janak could not interfere.
किसी की कस्टडी में
जैसे
नहीं. जानकी को जब भेजते हैं during pregnancy also, she's effectively in his custody.
In whose custody?
राम जी
Ram's
को भेजते
custody.
हैं, लक्ष्मण के साथ भेजते हैं.
Why?
The destination is predetermined by husband. How could she go away from her, or how can anyone interdict that?
After all, she entered the womb of the mother earth.
Eventually, when she leaves the body, she leaves this world eventually.
That is how
After handing over the sons, but she's still pregnant when she goes there. Pregnancy में probably मायके जाने
सर उसका ऐसे कहानी पे मत जाइए. रूल बुक में देखिए, हमारे तो बड़े
धन्य विधान क्या कोई शास्त्र नहीं
जो
है.
निष्कासित
का मैं बता रहा हूँ मैम. शुरू में तो बड़े at a certain stage in the earlier धर्मशास्त्र you find very cruel rules. मार के घर से निकाल दो, to hell with her, anything. And then come around 9th-10th century the rules seems to change, and मैंने शायद बोला क्लास में, there is such a severe restriction on the husband's right to throw out the woman on the street. You cannot, he says, the around 10th century the Dharma Shastra says, the duty of the husband to take care of the wife never ceases. Even if, and look at the work, आप जरा सुनिएगा, even if the wife continues to get repeatedly pregnant from other men, the husband's duty to take care does not cease, and if he wants to throw her out of the house, it's not that he's going to put them on the street.
ऐसे कर दे उसको.
Just a moment. She has to be put in a separate house. Then comes the commentator. Can we put her in the stable?
Yep, yes.
No. You have to give her a house and with amenities equal to yours. You can stop talking to her. You may not have any kind of physical contact with her. You may not involve her in rituals, family rituals. You may not take her to family gatherings. And worst case scenario is you have to put her in a separate house and provide all the amenities. उसी principle को लेके आज भी हमारे हिंदू लॉ में है that even after divorce, the Hindu husband's responsibility to maintain the wife does not cease. She only if she gets married. If she gets married, then the duty of the former husband ceases. But if she chooses not to marry again, till her death, it's the duty of the husband to maintain her, even after divorce. ये मैं उसमें से बोल रहा हूँ, मैं स्मृति चंद्रिका वगैरह के सब.
हमने पिछले में बता दी अगर वो 2 BHK में रह रहा है तो उसको भी उसी लेवल का घर देगा. हमने बोला था.
But if we go back to Rig Veda, वहाँ पे women have been put in a very very high pedestal.
सर वही तो
Typically, that means somewhere from there things would have gone down. Then things.
There is a decay, and that I've already said so many times. I can't explain. It's for the historians to work out the reasons why. What has happened? That from this text to this text, certain things are happening, and then another text comes. For example, there were texts which said if a woman is defiled by the touch of another man, she will be thrown out. And then come to 11th, 12th century text. No, in that case, she will have to be accepted back by the husband. So there is something happening. Something is going on in the society where because of which certain rules are made. Again, I mentioned the rule of adverse possession. Earlier rules, 10 years, 20 years, if you don't take care of your property, you lose your interest, you lose your proprietary right. Come this medieval period, late medieval, middle medieval, they said nothing doing. Even if your property is in the custody of somebody for 100 years, your ownership does not cease. Which means some things are happening. And there is a lot of political instability, and the moment the political stability is sought to be restored and the earlier laws are then kind of modified to have a more saner system. So there is something happening which has not been commented upon.
So next time will be last class.
But next is the last class.
आप लोग अब देख लीजिए, बात करिए उनसे अगर पढ़ानी है तो.
मैम फिर आप पढ़ाना शुरू कीजिए.
हाँ मैम पढ़ाएंगे.
आप लोग क्या पढ़ना है? अगर धर्मशास्त्र कंटिन्यू करना है तो क्या? मैं तो दर्शन पढ़ाऊँ.
दर्शन पढ़ेंगे.
मैं तो इन हाउस हुई हूँ, मैं तो जो कहेंगे जो पढ़ा सकती हूँ वो मैं पढ़ाऊँगी. क्योंकि वेद में पढ़ा
आपकी नई किताब आई है उसी
वही दर्शन, वो तो वैशेषिक ही है.
उसी किताब को टेक्स्ट मार के पढ़ लें.
नहीं, उसकी जरूरत नहीं है अभी. उसमें तो कुछ सिलेक्ट एस्पेक्ट्स हैं. आपको तो फिर शुरू से पढ़ना पड़ेगा अगर दर्शन पढ़ना है, वो भी वैशेषिक दर्शन.
ठीक है.
अभी एक क्लास धर्मशास्त्र की है, साइंस सारे करने हैं. तो आप लोग डिसाइड करके बताइए. मैंने 10 शास्त्रों
वो टॉपिक्स आप एक बार दोबारा डाल देंगे.
जो 10 शास्त्र के नाम दिए.
My WhatsApp has got completely reformatted.
मैं आपसे पढ़ रही हूँ.
वही पढ़ाऊंगी जो मैं पढ़े हुए थे. उनका फील्ड धर्मशास्त्र है.
तो उसके गोल में आज से करवा दीजिए.
नहीं, आज से अगली
नेक्स्ट क्लास